what has never been in dispute is the quality of work that comes out of the Portsmouth Naval Shipyard. But every now and then, the yard is the target of a borderline tug of war.
And right now it appears New Hampshire may be getting ready to once again give its end of the rope another pull.
We are very pleased with this decision, but we're not surprised.
That's former Maine Attorney General Stephen Rowe back in 2001, after hearing that the U.S. Supreme Court had denied New Hampshire's claim to the islands that Portsmouth Naval Shipyard sits on. He had argued that a decree signed by both states back in the mid-1970s had settled the boundary dispute back then. But New Hampshire officials said newly unearthed documents they had placed the actual border along the Maine shoreline, as shown by the dotted line, and that meant the shipyard was in New Hampshire. But the Supreme Court did not buy that argument and dismissed the case, meaning thousands of shipyard workers living in New Hampshire would still have to pay income tax to Maine.
It does seem to me to be unfair that someone that lives in New Hampshire and works on federal property has to pay Maine income taxes, and even their family members, their spouse, would also have to pay the taxes even though they didn't work in Maine.
Fast forward to this week when we learned that Joseph Barton, a freshman legislator in the New Hampshire House of Representatives, is sponsoring a resolution asking Congress to move the borderline north so that the shipyard would be part of the Granite State. Barton, a Republican, also wants President Trump to designate duty stations as part of Portsmouth. In a statement to News Center Maine, Barton said, quote, "I'm not sure how much Maine Senator Susan Collins' vote against Trump's nominee for the Secretary of Defense will motivate him, but I am sure that the facts will." We also asked for a comment from the town of Kittery. Town manager Kendra Amaral told us if New Hampshire wants the shipyard, then they should need to build bridges to the island from their state. And Newcastle or Portsmouth can assume all of the local road congestion and infrastructure impacts associated with hosting the shipyard. Barton's resolution has already had a public hearing, but it still needs to clear both the New Hampshire House and Senate and be signed by Governor Kelly Ayotte before it can be sent to the U.S. Congress.